It's a cold morning as the sun rises over the woods surrounding Smurf Village. It is a time of celebration as Smurfsmas is approaching. The Smurfs are bustling about, decorating their village with colorful lanterns, strings of Smurf berries, and winter flowers. The scent of Smurfsmas is in the air. Smells like cinnamon and sugar cookies and hot cocoa fill the nostrils of every Smurf. Smurfette hangs some ornaments on a giant tree, while the ever-strong Hefty Smurf carries a stack of presents. All around the village, the Smurfs are singing their Smurfy Smurfsmas carols. La 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 la. Smurfsmas is a great time of year for every Smurf, big and small, young and old. It's a season of peace, of good wishes and giving. It is a time of celebrating family and friendships. Every Smurf pitches in to make this year's festivities better than the ones before. One Smurf in particular, Brainy Smurf, has decided to memorialize the holiday and is writing in his book, titled very appropriately, How to Celebrate Smurfmas the Proper Way. Brainy directs everyone with exaggerated authority.
Remember, Smurfs, Smurfmas is not about presents. It's about following the rules, specifically my rules.
Whoops, sorry, Brainy. But don't you think Smurfsmas is more about, joy and fun?
Joy comes from doing things the right way. Now, place that star at exactly 45 degrees on the tree.
Smurfette laughs as Clumsy struggles to follow Brainy's instructions. Papa Smurf enters and observes the scene with a warm smile.
Oh, my Smurfs! It's the most wonderful time of the year. Let's make this Smurfmas one to remember.
It's already perfect, Papa Smurf. I think it may just be the best one yet. But I can't shake the feeling that something, well, unexpected might happen.
Yes, but it may just be all the good tidings in the air, Smurfette. All of you Smurfs are doing simply the best. But it is always best to be prepared. We'll just have to wait and see. Smurfette, keep an eye on things. Brainy, try not to be too bossy. Clumsy, please be careful. The rest of you, keep up the great work. Smurfmas is just around the corner. Keep decorating and wrapping presents.
Gargamel is pacing in his dingy, dimly lit lair. A small fire in the fireplace and a mostly empty cookpot is hanging over it. He stops and drops into a not-so-sturdy stool next to an equally rickety table. He drums his fingers on the tabletop in a steady rhythm. Azreal, his ever-faithful cat, watches him with a bored expression.
Meow.
Oh, poor Gargamel. He's been stewing all day because he knows Smurfsmas is almost here and the Smurfs will be enjoying themselves.
Smurfsmas, bah! The Smurfs, always so merry, always so happy. There will be ornaments and presents and delicious food. Bah! It makes me sick. They've eluded me for so long. Oh, to taste the sweetness of a Smurf in my pot. But this year, I'll have my revenge. Why shouldn't we have a good and tasty Smurfsmas of our own, Azreal?
He turns to Azreal. The cat, however, is fast asleep, curled up next to the dying of the fire, not paying any attention to his raving.
Oh, I'll do it myself, and I get the biggest portion. You'll see.
Azreal yawns. Gargamel clears the table and finds a scrap of paper. He draws up a blueprint and hatches his sinister plan. A Smurf trapping Smurfsmas tree.
Yes, yes! A Smurfsmas tree so beautiful, so irresistible, they won't be able to resist it. And then, once they get close, I'll pounce, trapping them all. They'll be mine, oh mine!
Meow.
Oh, don't give me that look, Azreal. This will work. I'll put it right in the middle of the forest. They will see it and come. And then we'll have our very own Smurfs for our very own Smurfsmas dinner!
Gargamel sets to work, cackling to himself. A short time later, the Smurfs gather around their own tree, now fully decorated. Everyone is enjoying their cookies and cocoa. They're eating Smurf berries and having a really Smurfy time. They sing Smurfsmas carols, joyously celebrating. La 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 la. It's a chilly, clear night. Snow on the ground, but the joy of the Smurf festivities keeps everyone warm. Papa Smurf looks up at the sky, the stars twinkling overhead. He thinks to himself,
The magic of Smurfmas is in the air. I just hope Gargamel stays far away tonight.
Meanwhile, out in the forest, Gargamel's Trap is ready. A large, sparkling Smurfsmas tree adorned with fake presents sits invitingly in a clearing.
Come, little Smurfs. Come and get your presents. I can almost taste them.
Later that night, Papa Smurf, Brainy, Smurfette, Clumsy, and Hefty wander through the forest, having spotted the mysterious Smurfsmas-like glow. They crunch through the snow, just out of reach of Smurf Village, and the magical part of the forest that conceals them from threats, like Gargamel. Into a clearing they spot it, a most magnificent Smurfsmas tree, tall and bright, adorned with decorations.
Whoa, look at that. A Smurfsmas tree. And presents. I bet there is a Smurfs berry pie in there somewhere.
Hold on, Clumsy. Something about this doesn't feel right. Who would leave a tree in the middle of the forest?
Obviously, Hefty. It's a gift from nature itself. It's a reward for Smurfs who follow the rules precisely. Like I've been telling you, let me investigate.
Before they can stop him, Brainy steps forward to inspect the tree.
Be careful, my little Smurfs. Hefty is right. Danger may be closer than you think.
Suddenly, the ground beneath them gives way. A net springs up, capturing the Smurfs and hoisting them into the air.
Oh no! It's a trap!
I knew those presents were too good to be true.
Gargamel and Azreal emerge from the shadows, laughing triumphantly.
Merry Smurfsmas, Smurfs! You're all mine now.
The Smurfs struggle in the net, realizing they've been caught.
Gargamel, let us go!
Why would I do that, my fine, swole little friend? I'm going to keep you for my own Smurfsmas dinner.
Gargamel, this is too much. You've gone too far. Don't you know what day tomorrow is? Why, it's Smurfmas.
Yeah, you mean old bully. Don't you know the meaning of Smurfsmas?
Bah, I'm Smurf. All this night means is I'm going to eat well tonight.
Gargamel swoops up the Smurfs in a quick motion, and they head back to his lair. Later, back at Gargamel's lair, the Smurfs are now locked inside of a cage hanging from the ceiling. Gargamel himself is sitting by the fire, occasionally stirring a cauldron and humming to himself. He is also trying to pick a recipe from a cookbook his mother made. He finally has the Smurfs right where he wants them, and the dinner preparation has to be just right, especially on Smurfsmas.
Yes, that's the one. No, I don't like turnips. Which one? There's got to be the perfect recipe in here somewhere.
Azreal lounges nearby, looking at Gargamel with mild and annoyed curiosity. Then at the Smurfs with hungry eyes. Gargamel slams the book on the table in frustration, giving Azreal a start, unable to find the perfect recipe.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Boiled, fried, sous vide, barbecued. Finally, after all these years, I've caught you, Smurfs. This'll be the best Smurfmas ever. For me, that is.
Papa Smurf, ever calm, steps up to the edge of the cage.
Gargamel, you don't really want to spend Smurfmas this way, do you?
Why not? I've got everything I want. Smurfs for Smurfsmas. What could be better?
You've got us. But what kind of Smurfmas is this if you don't have any friends or joy in your heart?
Friends? Joy? Gargamel needs not those things. I've got you. And once I figure out what to do with you, maybe I'll finally have peace from your infernal singing and happiness. And a full belly.
But Smurfsmas is about sharing joy, not just for yourself, Gargamel.
That's correct, Smurfette. I've got a book that proves it.
Yeah, exactly what Smurfette said. This is not what Smurfmas is about.
Let me out of here, and I'll show you exactly what Smurfmas is all about.
Now, Hefty, Gargamel, didn't you ever celebrate this time of year with your family and friends? Don't you have memories from when you were little? Decorations, food, family, friends, presents?
Papa Smurf always says those are all the ingredients to a successful holiday.
Didn't you build snow people and roast Smurfberries?
Eat sugar cookies by the fire or sing carols?
Oh, please. Stop with the incessant questions and spare me your sugary speeches. You think you can trick me into letting you go with all this Smurfsmas nonsense?
Papa Smurf and the others exchange knowing glances, realizing they need to reach Gargamel another way.
Deck the halls with boughs of berries. La 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 la. 'Tis the season to be Smurfy. La 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 la.
Stop it! Stop that infernal singing! I don't care about your Smurfsmas songs!
La 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 la.
But the Smurfs continue, their harmony filling the dark air. Even Azreal tilts his head, listening. Gargamel throws his stirring spoon across the room, clearly flustered.
You can't stop the Smurf spirit, Gargamel. It's a very well documented fact. It is everywhere this time of year.
Papa Smurf sees an opportunity and speaks gently and directly to Gargamel.
Gargamel, when was the last time you really enjoyed Smurfmas? I mean, really got into the spirit of it.
Gargamel freezes, suddenly uncomfortable. He tries to brush off the question.
I don't care about Smurfsmas. It's just a stupid holiday for people to want to rub their happiness in my face.
Is this how you feel? Or is it because you've never had anyone to share it with?
For a moment, Gargamel hesitates, clearly caught off guard. He glances at Azreal, who is now nuzzling up to the cage, purring. The Smurf's singing softens, and a look of confusion crosses Gargamel's face. He turns and faces the fire, his eyes focusing on the soft flickering flames.
I had a type of Smurfsmas once, a long time ago, but that's none of your business.
Gargamel flashes back to his childhood home. He must be 8 or maybe 9 years old. He is happily decorating the sparse home with scraps of paper and metal he has scrounged and created into ornaments. His small smile grows with every decoration placed. In the memory, Gargamel's mother breaks his concentration.
Gargamel! This house isn't going to clean itself. Get your lazy butt up and get your chores done. And stop sticking that garbage all over the house. Just giving me more stuff to clean up.
Mother, can I just finish a few more holiday decorations? Please?
What are you, nuts? Ha ha! We've got too much to do for that foolishness.
Gargamel shakes his head as if to wipe away the memory. Now back in the present.
I never had a real holiday. No one ever cared. It was always just me, alone.
After some time passes, the Smurfs are busy inside their cage, making the best of their situation. Clumsy is decorating the bars with bits of straw, trying to make things more festive. Smurfette is humming softly, while Hefty tries to plan a way out.
Papa Smurf, we can't just sit here forever. We need to escape.
Patience, Hefty. Sometimes the best way to escape is by changing the heart of your captor.
Suddenly, Gargamel approaches the cage, looking conflicted. He has a tray of food on it. far from a gourmet meal, but it's a surprising gesture.
Here, if we're going to keep singing those annoying songs, at least don't starve.
The Smurfs look at each other in surprise. Gargamel looks embarrassed and quickly turns to leave.
Thank you, Gargamel. Sharing is one of the first steps of understanding Smurfmas.
Gargamel pauses at the door, grumbling to himself. Later that evening, the Smurfs are still locked inside the cage, but they've quieted down. Gargamel, sitting by the fire, stares blankly into the flames. His earlier smugness has faded, replaced by an odd mixture of frustration and melancholy. He's clearly unsettled by the Smurfs' kindness and caroling.
Gargamel, you are not as cruel as you want us to believe. If you were, we wouldn't still be here.
I mean, you even fed us.
You think I care? I only fed you because you wouldn't shut up otherwise. Smurfsmas, this time of year, it's all a farce. Just a time for people to feel good about themselves. I don't need it.
What happened to you, Gargamel? Why do you hate Smurfsmas so much?
Gargamel glances at her, his face hardening, but something in his eyes flicker, a memory trying to surface. He turns away, as if unwilling to show weakness.
What difference does it make? This time of year never meant anything to me. It's a holiday for fools.
Maybe it didn't always feel that way. But was there ever a time when you enjoyed Smurfmas, Gargamel?
For a moment, Gargamel is silent. His brow furrows, and he stares more intensively into the fire. Slowly, the crackling flames seem to transform, pulling him back into that childhood memory. The modest, dimly lit room, sparsely decorated for the holidays. There's a small wilting tree in the corner with only a few ornaments hanging from it. Young Gargamel sits on a worn-out chair by the fireplace, staring longingly at the few meager decorations. His clothes are ragged, and his expression is one of loneliness. Through the window we can see other children outside, laughing, playing, and throwing snowballs. Their laughter contrasts starkly with the quiet sadness inside the room. He's become more adept at making the best of what he's got.
Maybe this year will be different.
He looks over at the tree, hopeful, though there are no presents underneath it. A faint sound of footsteps approaches, and his mother, a weary, stern-looking woman, enters the room. She's carrying a basket of laundry, her face etched with exhaustion.
Mother, is Father coming home soon? I told him I'd wished for him to bring something special this year.
His mother barely looks at him, focused on her chores. She sets down the laundry and begins folding it without responding right away. She glances his way, noticing him staring at her, waiting for an answer.
Your father won't be home tonight, Gargamel. He's busy with work.
Young Gargamel's face falls. The bit of hope he had quickly faded. He looks back at the empty space under the tree.
But it's, the holiday tomorrow. I wished for something special.
Well, wish in one hand and spit the other. See which one fills up first. That's what I always say, Gargamel. Wishes don't put food on the table. And tomorrow is just another day. Now stop dreaming, stop complaining, and get to choring. Forget all of this holiday nonsense. We don't need it.
She exits the room, leaving Gargamel alone once more. He looks back out the window at the joyful children, his eyes filling with a mixture of envy and sadness. Suddenly, a gentle knock is heard at the door. Young Gargamel's eyes widen with the spark of hope. He rushes to the door and opens it eagerly, expecting his father. Instead, it's a neighbor, a kindly old woman holding a small tin of cookies.
Happy holidays, dear. I thought you might like a little something sweet to help celebrate.
Gargamel's face lights up for a moment, but before he can respond, his mother returns, her expression cold and disapproving.
We don't need charity.
She takes the tin from the woman's hand and quickly shuts the door.
Well, I never...
The old woman leaves, her smile fading. Inside, Gargamel stands frozen, watching his mother place a tin on a high shelf, out of reach.
But why can't we celebrate the holidays like everyone else?
Because we can't afford it. It's a waste of time and money. You'll understand when you're older.
The young Gargamel stares at the shelf where the cookies sit, untouched. He looks back out the window, watching the other children receive presents and sing carols. His heart hardens as he mutters to himself,
This holiday is stupid. I don't need it. I don't need any of it.
Gargamel's flashback fades, and we're back in the present. He blinks, his eyes reflecting the firelight. He looks weary, as though that old memory has taken a toll on him. The Smurfs watch him silently, their expressions full of understanding. Gargamel clenches his fists, trying to shake off the vulnerability he feels.
You see? That's your holidays. Unfulfilled wishes, disappointment, loneliness.
Papa Smurf approaches the bars of the cage, speaking gently.
That wasn't Smurfmas, Gargamel. That was a hard time in your life. And I'm sorry it happened to you. But Smurfmas isn't about what you didn't get. It's about what you still can give. And what you can share.
Share? With who? I have no one.
Azreal, sensing Gargamel's sadness, jumps onto his lap and nuzzles against him. Gargamel strokes the cat absent-mindedly. His face softens, a hint of vulnerability slipping through.
You're not alone, Gargamel. You have Azreal. And, well, you could have us too. You didn't need to capture us to be part of something bigger.
You're never alone if you don't want to be.
Yeah, possibly we can. Deliver you some things, after we get out of here.
Hefty, that's not the meaning of Smurfmas. Gargamel, you're welcome to enjoy Smurfmas with us.
Yes, in the true spirit of Smurfmas, you're welcome to join us.
Gargamel freezes, surprised by their words. He looks at the Smurfs, confused.
You would invite me to your Smurfsmas? After all that I've done?
Smurfmas is about forgiveness, Gargamel. If you're willing to let go of your anger, there's always room at our table.
For the first time, Gargamel looks genuinely conflicted. The hardness in his face starts to crack as the memories of his lonely childhood mix with the kindness being offered to him now.
I don't understand. Why would you do that?
Because that's what Smurfmas is. It's not about being perfect or deserving gifts. It's about kindness and second chances.
Please, Gargamel, won't you join us?
Please.
Come on, join us.
Yeah!
Gargamel falls silent, staring into the fire again. The Smurfs wait, watching him carefully, knowing that his heart is beginning to change. The warmth of the fire flickers across his face as he grapples with the unfamiliar feeling of being offered forgiveness and a place to belong. Gargamel stares at the fire for a long time. Then, with a heavy sigh, he stands up and walks over to the cage. He pulls out a key and unlocks the door, swinging it open.
Get out of here. Go back to your village. I don't care anymore.
The Smurfs step out cautiously, but they don't immediately run. Instead, Papa Smurf approaches Gargamel, smiling warmly.
Thank you, Gargamel. But what about you joining us instead? There's always room for one more at our Smurfmas table. It's tiny, but we'll fit you in.
For the first time in a long while, Gargamel looks genuinely touched.
I don't know what to say.
I think the proper response in this particular instance is yes.
What do you think, Azrael? Should we go? Okay then, little Smurfs. Okay. Maybe I can have a happy holiday after all.
It's Smurfsmas, Gargamel. Anything's possible.
The Smurfs, Gargamel, and Azrael head to the door. Hefty and Clumsy stop Papa Smurf before going outside.
Papa Smurf, what happens if Gargamel changes his attitude? What if he decides later to go back to his old ways?
Yeah, and we've led him right to our village? He could come back after Smurfmas and get after us.
Don't worry, I'll put a little Smurfy spell on him to forget the way. One thing with Gargamel, we can always count on Gargamel to be Gargamel.
The Smurfs lead Gargamel into the heart of their village. It's a beautiful scene glowing with festive lights strung between mushroom houses, colorful decorations, and a towering Smurfsmas tree in the center of the square. Snow gently falls, covering the village in a peaceful white blanket. The sound of soft carols fill the air, and the Smurfs, despite their earlier capture, have already resumed their joyful preparations. Gargamel steps cautiously into the village, looking around as if in a dream. He's still wary, not used to being welcomed anywhere, let alone by those he has spent years trying to catch. Azreal follows closely behind, sniffing curiously at the festive decorations. Papa Smurf notices Gargamel's hesitation and approaches him with a kind smile.
Smurfs, this year we have a special guest. Let's show Gargamel what Smurfmas is truly about. Gargamel, tonight you're our guest, and no one should be alone on Smurfmas.
The Smurfs in the village are obviously surprised to see Gargamel, but they welcome Gargamel with open arms, surprising him with their warmth and generosity. A grand Smurfsmas feast is laid out on the table in the middle of the village square. Gargamel sits awkwardly at the tiny table, clearly unsure of how to act, but the Smurfs treat him like one of their own. He's amazed at the decorations, the sights, the smells. As the evening goes on, he begins to relax, even laughing at one of Clumsy's clumsy antics. Gargamel glances around, uncomfortable with the idea of staying. The Smurfs, however, show no hostility or fear. Instead, they wave cheerfully at him, continuing their preparations.
Well, this is unexpected, but I suppose even Gargamel can learn the true meaning of Smurfmas. I always say...
Not now, Brainy!
Brainy is cut off, but instead of getting angry, he simply smiles, handing Gargamel a small cup of warm, steaming punch. Gargamel takes it cautiously, eyeing it suspiciously before taking a hesitant sip. His eyes widen at the taste of the delicious drink.
This isn't bad.
He stands awkwardly to the side, watching as the Smurfs work together, setting up decorations, singing and laughing. Despite the years of animosity between them, the Smurfs treat him with warmth, acting as though he's one of them for the evening. Smurfette walks up to him, holding a wreath made of holly and berries.
Would you like to help hang this? It's for the village Smurfmas tree.
Gargamel looks at the wreath. Then he looks at Smurfette's hopeful face. He's confused. No one has ever asked him to help with something so simple and festive. For a moment he looks as though he might refuse, but then he takes the wreath gingerly.
Me? Really? I suppose I could hang it somewhere.
He steps up to the tree, which is already glowing with tiny lights and decorations made by the Smurfs. As he places the wreath on one of the branches, he pauses, staring at the tree. A memory flickers of the sad, sparse Smurfsmas tree from his childhood. This tree, in contrast, is full of life and joy. Clumsy approaches, tripping over his own feet as he falls headfirst into Gargamel's foot.
Oops. Sorry, Gargamel. I didn't mean to... Oh, wow. You did a great job with that wreath.
Gargamel looks at Clumsy, stunned by the compliment. He blinks, unsure of how to respond.
Thank you, I suppose.
Azreal, sensing the shift in Gargamel's mood, rubs against his leg and purrs. Gargamel, still holding the cauldron of punch, begins to relax ever so slightly. He watches as the Smurfs dance and sing around the tree, their joy infectious. Despite himself, he finds a small smile tugging at his lips. Later that night, the Smurfsmas feast is in full swing. The Smurfs have gathered around the large communal table, which is filled with tiny plates of food, mushroom pies, berry tarts, and other Smurf-sized delicacies. Papa Smurf sits at the head of the table, with Gargamel seated nearby, looking both out of place and oddly intrigued. Despite his earlier reluctance, Gargamel can't help but be drawn into the festive atmosphere. The warmth of the fire, the laughter of the Smurfs, the sense of community slowly beginning to melt his defenses. Azreal happily munches on a small dish set out for him by the Smurfs, purring contentedly.
Smurfs, tonight is a very special Smurfmas, because we have a guest with us. Gargamel has come to share in our Smurfmas, and we're here to show him what this holiday is truly about. Kindness, forgiveness, and togetherness.
The Smurfs cheer, raising their cups of punch in a toast. Gargamel shifts awkwardly in his seat, unused to being the center of such positive attention. He looks down at his plate, clearly moved but unsure how to express it.
We're glad you stayed, Gargamel. It wouldn't be a true Smurfsmas without sharing it with someone new.
I don't understand why you're all being so nice after everything I've done.
It's Smurfmas. Even bad guys deserve a little kindness now and then.
It's a well-known fact that there is no such thing as bad guys, Hefty. Only people who do bad things.
Gargamel looks at the Smurfs, surprised by their remarks, but also strangely touched. He's not used to being treated with kindness, especially by those he's tormented for years. Later that evening, the Smurfs gather around a large bonfire near the village center. The snow continues to fall gently, creating a picturesque scene. The Smurfs begin singing Smurfsmas carols, their voices filling the night air with warmth and joy.
La 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 la.
Gargamel sits at the edge of the group, watching quietly, arms crossed, but his usual sneer is absent. Papa Smurf walks over to him, carrying 2 small cups of punch. He offers one to Gargamel, who hesitates before accepting it.
It's not easy to let go of old habits, is it?
I don't understand you, Papa Smurf. You should hate me. You have every reason to.
Hatred only brings more hatred, but forgiveness, it can bring peace. And that's what Smurfmas is about.
I haven't felt peace in a very long time.
You're not alone anymore, Gargamel. Not tonight.
Gargamel is quiet for a long moment, watching the Smurfs as they sing and laugh around the fire. He clenches his fists at his sides, struggling with the unfamiliar emotions rising within him. Then, slowly, his hands relax and he lets out a long, weary sigh.
Maybe I don't want to be alone anymore.
Papa Smurf smiles warmly, clapping Gargamel on the back. The moment of connection lingers, and for the first time in years, Gargamel doesn't feel the need to push it away. Smurfette appears next to the bonfire as the other Smurfs quiet down. She begins her song.
The snow falls softly on our little town. The stars up above shining down. It's Smurfsmas Eve, so calm, so bright. The village is glowing in the moon's light. Oh, Smurfy hearts on Smurfsmas night, holding each other close and tight. With love and joy we share and sing a peaceful Smurfsmas everything. Papa Smurf whispers a gentle prayer that all the Smurfs know we care. Smurfs are all smiles, their life's so true, with every Smurfy dream coming through. Oh, Smurfy hearts on Smurfsmas night, holding each other close and tight. With love and joy we share and sing a peaceful Smurfsmas everything. Though the world may be cold outside, in our hearts warmth will abide. Smurfsmas brings us closer still. With Smurfy love we always will. Oh, Smurfy hearts on Smurfsmas night, holding each other close and tight. With love and joy we share and sing a peaceful Smurfsmas everything. So here we stay as one tonight, underneath the stars so bright. It's Smurfsmas time, a gift we share, a Smurfy love beyond compare.
As the music fades out, the Smurfs all head back to their respective houses as lights slowly dim all over the village. Gargamel quietly rises and with Azreal behind him slowly walks out of town. As they reach just beyond the clearing where the village sits, they turn for one last look.
Merry Smurfsmas, everyone.
A few minutes later, Smurfette, who is heading for home, looks around, noticing something strange. Gargamel is nowhere to be seen. She finds Papa Smurf, concern on her face. Brainy, Clumsy, and Hefty have met her there as well.
Papa Smurf, where's Gargamel? He didn't leave without saying goodbye, did he?
Yes, all indication is that he slipped out without anyone noticing, which might not be good news if he comes back.
Yeah, should we be worried, Papa Smurf? Will that spell keep him away?
He might have found Smurfmas, but he is still Gargamel.
Don't worry, Smurfette. I think Gargamel has something important to do in the morning, and we have something important to do before that.
The Smurfs exchange puzzled looks, but Papa Smurf doesn't explain further. He simply smiles and gestures for them to follow. The next morning, Gargamel awakes in his bed. Azreal is at his feet. The cat stirs a bit, yawns, and looks up at him.
Meow, meow.
What? At Azreal? Was it all a dream?
Meow.
I had the craziest dream last night, Cat. I dreamed I was in the Smurf village celebrating the holiday with them. There was food and singing and decorations. But before that, Azreal, I finally had them captured and I let them go. What a nightmare.
Azreal yawns again, closes his eyes, and puts his head back down.
Meow.
Gargamel scratches his head and gets up. He opens the curtains and turns around. Before him is a decorated room complete with a Smurfsmas tree decorated with ornaments, ribbons, and strings of Smurf berries. Gargamel looks around in wonder. There's food on the table and, best of all, a present under the tree, wrapped in bright Smurfy paper. The Smurf snuck over in the middle of the night and decorated his hut, making it just as Smurfy as can be.
What's this? For me?
Azreal enters and brushes up against his leg. Gargamel rushes to the tree and picks up the present. His eyes light up as he sees his name on it. He's overjoyed. In all his life, no matter how much he's wished for it, he's never received a holiday present.
In all my life, I've never received a present.
He tears open the package and first finds a note inside. The note is written by Smurfette.
This is for you, Gargamel. May wishes truly come true, no matter how long they take.
He opens it to find a beautiful hand-carved figurine of himself and Azreal, made by all the Smurfs, and a small knitted scarf for Azreal. He puts the scarf around the cat's neck, who purrs excitedly.
Meow.
I don't know what to say. Merry Smurfsmas, everyone.
Gargamel smiles and places the figurine on a shelf. Then he sits down to enjoy the bounty of food on the table. He pats the cat on the head and scratches a little behind his ears, grateful for the holiday. He doesn't notice, but there are a few sets of eyes watching from the window. Papa Smurf, Smurfette, Brainy, Hefty, and Clumsy have all come to check on him.
Looks like it was a merry Smurfmas for Gargamel.
Everyone deserves a little Smurfy joy, even Gargamel.
Yeah, we'll see how long his joy lasts before he starts in after us again.
Well, it's been a long and eventful night. What do you say we go home and enjoy a little Smurfy Smurfmas breakfast? I'm hungry.
That's the thing about snow, Clumsy. It's slippery.
Clumsy has slipped off the windowsill and landed in the snow below.
It's been a very Smurfy Smurfmas.
The snow falls softly on our little town, the stars up above shining down. It's Smurfsmas Eve, so calm, so bright. The village is glowing in the moon's light. Oh, Smurfy hearts on Smurfsmas night.
like it to be filled with more Smurfettes, but
It's a magical village where we eat berries all day and live in mushrooms.
Yeah. And so is his needful blood.
Little Smurf farts.
Come on, come get some dinner. Dinner. Dinner.
Smurfsmas Eve on Smurfsmas night. Smurfmas, Smurfy, Smurfy, Smurf. Merry Smurfsmas!